Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. And in the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and we're pretty casual here, you guys. And this is a nice, I would say, safe place in order for us to be able to express ourselves. I have some amazing people who come in and follow my content, and they take very, very good care of me. And every once in a while, it's important to show that appreciation for the people who tag along with us in our journeys. And I hope, right? I hope I contribute as much to their life as they contribute to mine. Okay, you guys. Yesterday, we picked a really, really amazing word. It's a word that probably a lot of people don't even use in their regular everyday conversations, this word synthesis. But I bet you work with this word every single day. So this word yesterday, we looked it up, the definition. This was a word that took me a few tries to actually get the idea and the gist of what it really meant and how it really contributed, not just to my life, but I think to the world in general. So today I thought we would take a look at this word synthesis in respects to innovation, in respects to AI, and how in this idea, okay, and if you've never heard of the word synthesis, it is a bunch of parts that come together to make a whole. Okay, maybe a whole bunch of ideas come together to come up with a truth. Maybe it's a different way of working with, like building a home, like you build a home, and all these different ideas and tools and trainings that we have, it all comes together, right, in order to build that home, that house. Now maybe that probably wasn't a very good example, but hopefully today, that when we talk about in respect to AI and its relationship when it comes to this word synthesis and how it might help us going forward, and maybe, our hesitancy in that. We live in a digital age, right? We live in this digital age that's allowed us to just blast off like a rocket when it comes to innovation. And if you just look back the past 150 years, hello, dear. Hello. Thank you so much for popping into my live tonight. We are talking about the word synthesis. It was a word that we picked yesterday, and we're going to work on it all week, looking at it in different perspectives. Today, I thought maybe we'd take a look at this word synthesis in respect to the day and age that we live in this digital age. Synthesis is helping us out so much. When we talk about medicine and the technology and the science behind that, how it's coming together, right, with the surgeons and the practitioners and the nurses and the people who do rehabilitation and who are experts in their field in the many aspects of medicine, that technology now is coming in and joining forces with the human and creating possibilities, right? Creating miracles, creating solutions, creating cures, right? When it comes to prosthesis, it's a hard word for me to pronounce, right? We're talking about artificial limbs. When we talk about medicine, they actually have doctors and surgeons who are actually only computer monitors on a tray with a set of wheels. And these are robots, the first stages of doctors being on wheels. You heard of Meals on Wheels, like Meals on Wheels. Now we have doctors on wheels, and they actually go from room to room to room. And maybe they don't necessarily have hands that they actually can perform a surgery, yet they do have surgical treatments that are assisted by AI, right? Artificial intelligence. Only 150 years ago, we had learned to fly in the sky, right? Right. We only discovered the cure. We only discovered insulin, right? We've only found a solution to prolong people's lives, right? Through the treatment of diabetes, like moving along this idea of bringing AI technology and partnering up with humans, that there are possibilities to prolong lives, not just in the diseases, but in our own well being as humans. You know, we don't take care of ourselves in the majority, right? Because if we did, we wouldn't be seeing the McDonald's and the Burger Kings, and right? We would have walking down aisles in grocery stores, foods that we could trust, that we didn't have to turn around and look at the ingredients and right the nutrients in a package, that we could trust that no matter what we take off the shelf, that it would be good for us. But then again, maybe not, because it takes all kinds to make the world. It does take all kinds to make the world. And to each one of us, right, there are different allergies. Some people can't do peanut butter. Some people are lactose intolerant. Some people are, right, they have glucose issues. So we are individuals and we have to feel it out for ourselves. But isn't it amazing that in this day and age, in this digital age, that we have an opportunity not just to partner up with other humans, but to partner up in that technology, that possibly me as an adult, that if I put myself back in my own shoes as a child, that how amazing it would have been that possibly AI might have partnered up with my mother, who was having such a difficult time with motherhood, right? Such a difficult time in raising her children, taking care of her household, holding on to a job at the same time, but also in that idea that technology that we have now has the potential to hold parents accountable, right, for their children. And we're not saying spy cameras and right that can watch to make sure that the children are good, but in technology and in this age of AI, we have better resources to help out the parents, that maybe somewheres down the road that we won't have such a difficult time, right? As children growing into adolescent, adolescents, and then growing into teenagers, and then growing into healthy, productive adults. I would have I would have loved to better contribute as an adult, right? But I didn't have the tools, and my parents did not have the tools, right, to pass down to me epigenetically, right? Just like it only 150 years ago, we were just testing out this idea of flying planes. Can you imagine that we as human beings can create the best human being we possibly can, create the best lives for each of ourselves individually without the pressures and the difficulties and the lack of knowing, the lack of understanding of how to be good parents, right? Even in this day and age, you can use the idea of technology coming into the workforce. And you might look at it and say, well, yeah, it's taking all our jobs. But I tell you, it's so much easier to use a cash register to take care of my customers in retail than it is to take the money. And well, for me myself, I'm old school. It's no problem. But I have kids who work at my store who can't even count backwards the change to their customers, that they actually are dependent on the cash register to tell them how much to give back to the customer. So if you look at it that way, it could be a little bit of detriment, and probably is, because again, going back to my day when I was in school, calculators came out. I think it was in grade 10 when calculators first came out. Calculators were about this big. Calculators were about this big, and I think I remember, if I'm remembering correctly, they were between $60 and $70 to buy a calculator. You couldn't use them in class. If you got caught with a calculator in class, you would be suspended from school for a couple of weeks. Guaranteed, right? Guaranteed you would have been suspended from school. And nowadays, right? Calculators, you can buy them at the bargain store for like $1. Every telephone has a calculator. The cash registers are calculators themselves, telling people how much change to give back, how much the customer owes us, making it very easy for us, right? So when we have this word, and getting back to the word synthesis, right? It's the combination of different parts that can make a whole. So I thought today, right? How amazing would it be? Because we are in a day and age of opportunity. And let me take a look at these comments here. I'm 28, so this is history class for me. Oh, is this, y'all? 28. If I could be 28, and I remember being 28 years old, some of the best years of my life. So much fun, but there wasn't a lot of movement forward. And when I said that, I would have loved that opportunity to have been a better citizen, to have better contributed, right, to the province that I live in, the city that I live in, right? Even in some of those employments that I had, some of those jobs that I had, some of those relationships and friendships and networks that I belonged to, right? I would have liked to have been a better contributor. Better late than never. I am paddling water. I'm doing the best that I can, and I am taking full advantage of this digital age, right? Not 100%, because we are in the beginning stages of AI, right? And if we have come this far, right? And when was grade 10? Would have been maybe 1977, 78, 1970, 78, when calculators first came out. That was only 50 years ago. Can you imagine what we're going to accomplish in the next 50 years? Right? And it's going to be through our choices, right? What we're going to allow to partner with us, right? Not just in the human side, right? But in the technology side, in the AI side. I think innovation, always, 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 innovation has been there to help, to assist us, to make things a little bit easier, to make things a little bit more accessible. And there is 100% zero chance that I would have been sitting here having these kind of conversations that I do if I hadn't allowed myself to be pulled along in this digital age, right? I'm mature. I'm a baby boomer. There's not a lot of baby boomer when you look at the percentages of the different age brackets that hang out in social media, that have YouTube channels, that talk about these kind of subjects, right? But with this digital age, it's in each one of our choices to allow ourselves to be pulled into it, right? It has served me well because, right, I'm making some serious movement forward because of this digital age, because of AI, because of that little bit of extra help that I'm giving and I'm getting, right? Uh, with the digital age, with AI, because I'm an introvert, right? I would never have had the gumption to ask for the help that I needed, right? But if it's right here for the asking, if I don't have to have that social interaction, and this is the way I think, I'm coming out of it now, you guys. I'm coming out of it now. But being introvert, there was a lot of fear, a lot of, what is it? When you just don't want to step into it, when you're a little bit anxious about stepping into it. Like, this wouldn't have even been a thought, right? And I would have been so stuck in my limiting beliefs, right? Not only would I have not been able to help anybody else in making a little bit of movement, which is, right, the goals, in which is what my movement is based on, but at the same time, right, I would not have even been able to help myself. Oh my goodness. Hello, Father Lopez. Hello, dear. Thank you so much for popping in, dear. I am well, and I hope you are doing well, and I hope your congregation is doing well. And I am sending blessings. I'm sending all kinds of good cheer for you, and I hope it serves you well, and I serves anybody else that you wanted to share that with. I haven't seen you or heard from you in a long time. I'll be super glad to let everybody know that you popped in. I think this is the first time you've popped into What's My Good Cheer. This is my other live show. I have Chatters Live on Sunday nights, but I do a lot of motivation, a lot of inspiration here 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. And I'm so happy to see you here, dear. Thank you so much for coming in. AI is out of this world, but this is a pirate water drinking gamer. Indeed, he says, AI is out of this world, but with the world, or USA as it is today, is dangerous. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm European, so I'm still learning about its history. I just found out about 9/11. Wow. That's amazing, right? That you found out about 9/11. That digital age has allowed you to find out about the digital age. In this digital age, dear, we are this close, right? We're live. This isn't a video that I'm going to post up and you're going to get after the fact. We are here together right this moment, right? And at any moment, we have that opportunity to discover something new for ourselves and maybe even discover something for our community or our family, right? Our friends, just by having that information that you didn't have 5 minutes ago. It could be a question that you sought out your entire life, right? Just like this word empath. I heard it for the first time. I may have heard it, but I had no idea in truth what this word empath or highly sensitive was, right? That I heard it for the first time and understood the impact and what it truly was for the first time when I was 57 years old. If I had known about it, and I had a curious mindset, I have had a curious mindset all my life. And if it had stumbled across my path, say I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, my life would have turned out so much differently. So we don't judge when things come to us. We just have to be grateful for when these lessons do. And I don't know what the lesson was for you, dear, that you just found out about 9/11, but maybe you just found out about it now in passing when the pain and the soreness of it is not so open of a wound, right? That it didn't have an opportunity to impact you the way it would have if in 9/11 you had heard about it. I have a friend, and he's a close friend, and he follows my content, Father Lopez. He knows Owen on my other live show, What's My Good Cheer? And he was there. He was there in the streets on the morning of 9/11, and he suffers from post traumatic stress disorder from that experience. So we just have to trust that the information gets to us when it needs to get to us, when the impact will impact us to the least amount or to the most amount, depending in the lesson that we need in that moment. So today, just to draw it back to the main trunk, right? Because we are talking this week on this word synthesis, which means taking a whole bunch of parts, right? And being able to put those parts together in a way that it makes a whole, whether it makes a whole explanation, where it makes a whole um, object, right? When it makes a whole idea understood, right? AI is here now, and it's going to be here for a while. And we are the testing subjects there, right? And there's going to be some collateral damage, I suspect, right? Because it's going to take a while for the experts. I'm not that expert. I'm a participant in this as much as I'm a spectator, but I am not an expert. I'm just going with this flow, and I'm allowing myself to go with this flow because it served me well. And if it should blow up in my face in this moment, right? And that's it. No more digital age, no more lessons. All my lessons are going to come from my books, come from my conversations, come from my experiences, and come from my lessons. I will be grateful for that, right? And I will understand that it happened for a reason. And I will be grateful that I had that opportunity to resolve as many issues as I did and was able to have as many understandings that I have now. And I have as many tools to help move me forward, right? Because I've been graced, right, with this moment of connection with the digital age. So synthesis has served me well. Synthesis, if it ended tomorrow, it's enough, right? but I'm moving forward with this. And if there is collateral damage, if somewhere's down the road that they find out that, right, I do see some potential issues in this digital age because we are this close, right? As an example, I live in a province where it was settled in the 1890s and the early 1900s by a lot of persecuted Ukrainians. And in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, there wasn't instant. We weren't in the digital age. They had to wait months sometimes to hear if their family was safe, even because even though they were able to settle here in Canada and in this province, they had to leave a lot of friends and a lot of family who were being persecuted home in the Ukraine. In this digital age, they get word instantly. So, what's happening in the Ukraine in this moment, families here in Canada are being impacted by that. Hello, Andrew. Do you see Andrew? Father Lopez is here. Father David is here. Amazing, isn't it? I haven't seen him in so long. But going back to the Ukrainians, they had to wait in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, sometimes up to a couple of months to get word from family that they were safe, or they got permission to come and settle here in Canada also. But this day and age, wars going on, they're still being persecuted. It's still going on. But we are this close to them now, right? And it may be a good thing that family here has that opportunity to connect and make sure that family members are safe. But at the same time, right? They see the issues, they see the war, they see the instant impact, they see the heartbreak, the pain, and the grief and the hurt that's going on, right? So I am here and I'm moving forward with the digital age. And I would like to think that, parents are going to get, and I'm sure parents are getting a lot of help in this digital age, right? In my day and age, my mother worked full time, right? Because my father was a compulsive gambler and we needed that money. It still was not the norm for the wives to be working and supporting the families. But in this day and age, both parents work to support the families. We know the kids are being born asking for their $2,000 iPhones, right? Inflation, it moves, right? I hope you're having an amazing day, Andrew. I hope you're having an amazing day. So I'm partnering with AI, not in the high specs, not in the scientific way, right? We'll talk a little bit about the science tomorrow when we're talking about this word synthesis, because, it was a toss up today whether I wanted to talk about synthesis and AI or talk tomorrow about science and synthesis, but I thought it might be a little bit more understandable tomorrow. I try to do everything in layman's terms so that we can all just understand, right? But I wanted to talk today about synthesis in a way that, right, might give the kids today that are having troubles, right, in living in one parent households or going to school where the children are having so many difficulties and budgets are being cut and the teachers can't get to every single student in a fair, portioned out way, that the kids have an opportunity to pick up the slack, right? and maybe allow AI to do a little bit of parenting, right? Or allow the teenagers and the children to do a little bit of self parenting, like I did, right? A lot of what I'm doing, a great deal of what I'm doing here online and working in my platforms and showing up here every single day and sharing the lessons, sharing the conversations, sharing my experiences. It is in the self parenting. And I hope and I trust, right, in that partnership that I have with YouTube and Google, that they'll divvy out the lessons where they might think that they might do a little bit of good. And somewheres along the line, right, there might be hiccups and it might cause a little bit of damage, might cause a lot. But I got this message out today, right? And if I happen to be a little bit of collateral damage down the road, so be it, because somebody has to take the first step. Somebody had to try that insulin first, right? Somebody had to have that transplant first. That surgeon had to be the first one to do the face transplant. They're doing face transplants now. Isn't that incredible? But that's innovation, right? And that's moving forward. And it's to each one of us to decide if we're going to partner with that. And I partnered with YouTube, I partnered with AI. Moving forward, I'm still going to be with AI because now it's part of my life. It's right. It's how I flow, and it's part of how I show up. It's part of what I have to offer as a little drummer girl, right? And so, right, I carry on. I move forward, and I'll be back tomorrow with a new perspective. And I said we were going to look at it in relations to science, possibly medicine, right? Maybe the mathematicians. We're going to look at synthesis. Maybe look at synthesis in a way, right? Not to look at how much we've accomplished in the past, but maybe how much we can accomplish in the future. So true, Cindy. Someone has someone has had to some activity for the first time to take the risk, right? For the gifts that I have received in these past 6 years, that possibly for the next few lifetimes might seriously and truthfully save my life, right? Might create some movement epigenetically in my own family's bloodline, that some of the difficulties that I had, that my nieces and nephews and future lines past that might not have those difficulties. And then, right, they'll be able to tackle the next lesson, not worrying about this lesson because Cindy's got it. Cindy had this one, right? And if I happen to be collateral damage, well, somebody will have learned from my failure. Okay, you guys, that's it for tonight. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Father Lopez, for popping in, right? Thank you, Pirate Water Drinking Gamer. Lovely to have you join us, and thank you for contributing into the conversation, right? Oh, ASMR, you guys. If you want to see Pirate Walker, if you like the ASMR, Asmer, go look at my video. I just watched one this afternoon. I was in there doing some work on my analytics and on my channel brand, and I popped in. I watched an old Explore video. If you haven't seen my main channel. Take a look. I explore the inside, but I also explore the outside. Abandoned farms, abandoned once rooms, schoolhouses, mansions, uh, houses, right? I do bushcraft videos. I do outdoor winter videos. And if you like the Asmere, go look at my outdoor winter videos and go listen to me crunching in the snow. Actually, go take a look at my Pinawa Dam video in the winter, the one I did in the winter time. That would be really interesting for you. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer, and we'll see each other tomorrow. Have a great night. Thank you all.